shit.
We back. We live, everybody.
Oh my God! Welcome back.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back from the House of Mouse.
It's all
Been on vacation.
it's all my fault, dude. Yeah.
Dave was so enamored with the first two episodes of Obi-Wan that he decided he had to go to the mothership and go see Obi-Wan for real.
Yeah. If only I'd have just waited for these last two, then I might not have wanted to go.
Well, listen. Let's not go so far. The third episode, I think, is really good.
No, I was being a little jokester. Yeah, the third episode is good.
The fourth episode, meh.
We'll get into that. But how's everybody's week going?
Going pretty good, man. I was outside at a pool for the last 2 days. Got a little bit of sun here.
I forget you. I don't even. It doesn't. And I don't mean this in any bad way, but like it doesn't occur to me because I'm not bald that I don't. You have to like put sunscreen on your head.
Oh yeah, I use SPF 100, Dave.
So his brain don't cook.
So yeah,
bro, that shit is like might as well just be like a bulletproof vest.
So it's like your divine shield, like your bubble.
People stand next to him for too long, they'll get sunburn off his dome.
That's correct.
It reflects. It's like Captain America's shield.
Snow.
That's right.
It's kind of like snow. You get sunburnt from the reflection of this sun off.
Jon Snow.
I was gonna say, speaking of snow, how good is Jon Snow in that where you're at, or he's not yet?
God, he's not, bro. He's not.
But you've never really liked Jon Snow, have you? Though.
No.
I didn't like. I mean, hey, listen, for everybody out there, in case you're wondering, we are going to review all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones leading up to the new Game of Thrones prequel coming out somewhere around August 25th, I believe.
Jason, what's the title of that show?
House of
the Dragon.
There we go. All right.
So check back in with us somewhere around July 4th, where we'll be reviewing the first season at
its entirety.
In its entirety.
Yeah, but we're all rewatching the show to kind of like get reacclimated with it.
We are. But so I'm also like I'm trying to take some additional notes here because I feel like these seasons are so good that I feel like we owe it like a little bit more, maybe a little more in-depth conversation than what we give some of the other things. So I'm also trying to focus in on a couple things that I'm trying to find interesting, which is like what's the worst storyline of the season and what's the best storyline and why, right? And I'm just looking at Jon Snow and I'm like, dude, like you're at the Night's Watch and now you're climbing the wall to go back to turn on your brothers or turn on the wildlings, right? And do this whole thing. I'm just like,
he's doing
this story sucks.
He's in deep cover, bro. But Josh,
I don't know, but look, I did like Jon Snow. I did like Jon Snow when he leaves the wall. Bless you, Dave.
Thank you.
But Josh, you
yes,
should have known his story wasn't interesting, or obviously he would have been made king at the end.
Because he didn't have the most. But you know whose story is really interesting?
Bran the Broken.
No, it's Bran the Evil.
Yeah,
Bran the Evil. We'll get.
Are we gonna introduce that in like the intro to season 1? Is we're gonna watch it from this perspective?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah. So
me and Dave are trying.
So small teaser. This nobody watches this, so it's not a big deal. But Jason and I are all in on the only way to explain Game of Thrones' ending and actually make it good is if Bran is secretly like
running the show.
Yeah. He's run the show and he's the one who kind of causes all of the bad things to happen so that he can ascend the throne. So we are watching the show assuming that is canon. And it has made things slightly more interesting for sure, especially in the early stuff because you do get a lot of Bran before he becomes the Three-Eyed Raven. And I think it's kind of interesting. It's definitely made it more of a fun little rewatch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting going back through right now. I don't want to give too much away, but I remember the first time through really having some sympathy for Theon and then like really feeling bad for him, especially like I haven't gotten quite all the way through his torture yet, but when he starts being called Reek and all that stuff, and I remember like being like really sympathetic. This time around, I don't really feel that way. I feel like Theon sucks, man. He's not one of the worst characters in the show. He's a great character, but he's one of the worst people.
So you know what storylines I have found myself, and I'm like near the tail end of season 2. I have found the storylines that I really don't care at all about. And again, this is hindsight. I don't give a fuck about Robb Stark and his whole thing. I just don't care. Like,
why? Just because you know how it's going to end?
I know it amounts to essentially. I'm not going to say it amounts to nothing, but it in the grand scheme of things, it amounts to nothing.
Looking back now,
yeah. Well, in the moment, like watching that for the first time,
I was all in on Robb Stark. I thought he was going to win,
and I still like it. But yeah, it does. There is something missing from it when when you see him marry Talia or whatever her name is.
I'm like, dude, why can't you just keep your fucking promise to old dude?
See how hot his wife is? See how hot his wife is?
Dave's getting worked up. Here we go.
I know, dude. I'm super mad.
Did you see how hot the wife he didn't go get was? When she ends up marrying the
she wasn't bad looking.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
you talking about Walter Frey's daughter?
And who cares? The dude's baby, the dude's wife gets stabbed right in the baby. Like at this point, who cares?
I know. Anyway, we're getting off track.
The Lannister sends her regards. Fucking yeet. You're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be brutal. That's gonna be brutal. I can't wait to get there.
We're almost at the end of season 1. It still bothers me that I know that Ned's gonna die.
Oh man, and that's another thing. I don't know. I don't want to give it all away, but like, I guess I don't remember the first time like Ned just wearing this glowing neon sign that says "Please fucking kill me." But I mean, this time around, this dude is just like all he's doing is poking the fucking bear the whole time.
Yeah, he lives by a certain code, and that code no longer exists. And so when he goes to King's Landing, he's just, the dude's like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like playing the Game of Thrones, and he's like, he's stuck in his old ways.
All right.
You all ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this thing.
Let's do this. Shit, we're fucking early. Shock the world.
Let's get it done. Turn in early.
Do this. I got at least 10 more deaths to go on Elden Ring tonight.
Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents Obi-Wan Kenobi, a new original series presented by Disney+. I'm your co-host, the Human Dart, along with
Jason Tsunami
and David Disaster.
Hey,
yo,
we made it.
We did.
We're only 10 days late.
Yeah.
Well, by the time you guys all hear this, it's probably a year and 10 days late.
Yeah, and
we're probably actually in the middle of Obi-Wan season 2, but would they call that Obi-2?
You're so fucking stupid. Oh my god. But look. Business out of the way for a second. I went on vacation. I went to the land of the mouse, and took the family. Yep, took the family.
Hey, did you suck on some blue milk?
I did drink some blue milk.
Is that the same shit that Luke drinks?
Luke drinks green milk, but they had both. I opted for the blue, and it tastes like liquid Aquafresh. It's not good. Sorry, Disney.
That'll get you in the sack with Storm.
I know we were close to a Disney endorsement, and I just threw it in the toilet. Sorry, but your blue milk is yucky.
Oh, I just got the text. The deal is off. Thanks,
damn.
Son of a bitch.
But no, so anyway, went out of town, and I came back yesterday. We had original plans to do the pod yesterday, but then, being that we knew there was going to be a Obi-Wan Kenobi episode today, when we're filming this.
Give you a twofer.
Might as well just drop them both at the same time. You know, we like to drop 2 deuces at the same time, so that's what we're doing.
All right.
That's right. You know what's funny? So I was gonna watch episode 3. So Amanda, our brother's into Star Wars, and he was coming over to stay the night. So I was like, oh, you know, I haven't watched it yet. I'll just wait. I don't know what was going on, but they didn't come up by like, you know, 11:30 or something like that. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going to bed. Then they come up around midnight, and then they watch it without me. I'm like, motherfucker. But it's interesting. Is one of them is like, God, this show is not good, and I'm like, what?
The whole show?
I'm like, yeah, that's what he said. So then I watch episode 3 today. You know, I watch episode 3 and episode 4 back to back today, and I was like, man, after episode 3, I'm like, what are we talking about here? This is a great fucking show. And he even made that comment before seeing episode 4. And I mean, look, it's not like episode 4 is terrible, but definitely I think episode 3 was the best episode, and episode 4 is the weakest episode so far.
I wouldn't agree that episode 3 is the best. I think
episode 2.
Yeah, I would say 2 as well.
Episode 2 was shit.
No, it was really good. Episode 4. Episode 4. Yes, as episode 4 actually does have me very, very worried for the last 2 episodes of the show. And I guess we'll get into that.
I guess I just have a question like here. I mean, what's the story of the show?
That's part of the problem.
I agree.
I mean, where is it going? That's what, like, when I think after the first 2 episodes, we're like, man, I'm surprised this thing isn't like moving like super fast and going to this place. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, I guess I don't know where we're moving fast to. You know, like I don't know what's the end game for the show, right? I mean, we know there's an end somewhere that's 9 years away, but I'm sure the show doesn't take us to the next 9 years.
No.
Essentially at its core, this is turning into just the Empire looking for Force-sensitive users or remnants of the Jedi.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is the very tail end of the complete decimation of the Jedi, right? Yeah. This is the tail end of a 10-year-long campaign to completely eradicate the Jedi, and I'll just say it now because it makes the most sense. My prediction is that ultimately Obi-Wan makes the decision or the choice or whatever. The decision is made to basically sacrifice all of the Jedi to save Luke and Leia, essentially. Yeah. And yeah.
Could we have just gotten, is it like too much to ask? Because like every Star Wars movie starts this way. Can I just get the rolling scroll just laying out, here's what you're going to see over the next 6 episodes. Here's what's happening right now. Here's what the issue is. And at least give us something to like
that is actually a very, very good point, Josh. And it's something I honestly hadn't thought about. But I do think this show could have benefited greatly from a rolling scroll opening. Right, it's not the most elegant, but look, Star Wars has done it forever, and I do think it would have helped set the stage better because we kind of came in, basically if you didn't watch the trailer and you just heard about the show, right, and you just started watching it, I'm not even sure you would know exactly what time period it is. Like obviously you see Luke and Leia and their age, and so you could just make a guess, right, but you don't really know what the state of the world is in. It's all just context clues, and I agree with you. I do think that is part of the problem, and I think this is going to be one of those shows where we really don't know. To your point, where are we headed? I don't think we're going to know until the last episode,
episode 6. Yeah,
and which I think that's a problem. If you don't really know the destination, because we don't know how to react, right? I think there's a lot of people online that are in, with everything that's popular in media. There's clearly a divide of people who love or hate it. And, there's some people in the middle, but mostly it's either I love the show or I hate the show. And like, I don't really know whether I love it, I don't hate it right now, but I don't know if I love it because, to your point, I don't know what is going to come out of this, which is going to greatly affect how I overall feel about it.
Yeah. Well, there's no. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's just we know there's nothing finite about like this show. We know Obi-Wan doesn't die. We know Darth doesn't die. We know Leia doesn't die. We know Luke doesn't die. We know where they're all at 9 years from now. So I think it's just like, does Reva die? Probably, since there's no mention of her somewhere down the line. But like, if Reva is the biggest person that dies in the show, not that people have to die to make it a good show, but I guess we're missing the suspense of, oh shit, what's going to happen?
And
that's when we get into issues, we're going to address that exactly.
Yeah, and I brought this up before, at least on a few podcasts, but this is my core issue with prequels in general.
Right.
Is that like the whole fun, in my opinion, of shows is the suspense of the suspense of not knowing, right? And the sense of urgency when characters are put in danger. But you don't have, to your point, Josh, you don't have that here because all the major characters, they make it, right? This isn't an alternate universe, an alternate reality version of the show. Like we're going to talk about it later, but whenever Obi-Wan and Leia are trapped and they're getting interrogated and stuff, like they're building up all this suspense, like, oh, take her away, oh, we're going to torture you, and it's like, so who cares? Leia makes it to episode 9, like it doesn't matter, like so it's like I don't understand why the show is trying to play with our emotions and make us get scared for like there's no reason for the show to try to make us feel scared of certain characters, because
it'd be cooler if present day Leia wore an eye patch, right? And then you saw her get tortured right here, and you see him like pull her eye out, and you'd be like, "Oh shit, that's how it happens." Cool.
That's also pretty graphic. At pulling out the eye of a 10-year-old. I don't know if I'd be ready to see that, but I applaud you, Josh, for the narrative.
Look, she's 10 BBY, Dave. We don't know what that true measurement is. That could be 20 in our day.
Oh yeah, well, that's true. Look, they don't work off of Earth's gravity. A year.
That's actually, I'm sorry, 10 ABY. Excuse me.
Yeah, this is after the battle.
No.
It's before. It's
before.
Yeah. You're tripping me up, man.
My bad.
Jason, I guess before we go off on rails too far, do you want to hit us up with some God damn it, recaps?
Hey, do you want me to just do both of them, one right after the other?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll still talk about each show separately a little bit, but let's just get all the recap.
All right, fuck it, let's go. Episodes 3 and 4, Obi-Wan. Episode 3 has our army of 2, Obi and Leia, landing on the mining planet Mapuzo, with Reva in hot pursuit after being promised the role of Grand Inquisitor if she can capture them. Feeling lost and betrayed since no one showed up on Mapuzo to pick them up, they hitch a ride with the Mole Man in an attempt to reach the nearest port. After escaping a potential capture, they're nearly captured again, but saved this time by an Imperial spy, Tala, the Sand Snake. Who takes them to
I was wondering if you were going to call that out.
Yeah, which of course is nearly immediately overrun by the Empire, with none other than Darth motherfucking Vader, wrecking shit and snapping necks. As Leia escapes through the underground system called the Path, Vader and Obi-Wan lock horns, and Vader drags his nuts and Obi all over the place, while Reva cuts off Leia and takes her prisoner. Saved by Tala, Obi makes his escape. We transition right into episode 4 with a callback to Book of Bacta, or Obi-Wan, of course, this time. Leia is in custody on Mustafar, being interrogated about Obi-Wan and the Path. Obi and Tala go on a rescue mission.
She's not on Mustafar, Jason.
Yeah, she's on the ocean moon planet Nur, which is in the Mustafar system.
Mustafar system.
But just didn't
Mustafar is lava, bro.
That's true.
Yeah, can't let our Star Wars fandom, look shoddy, okay? We got to make sure we keep you in check, bro.
I got you. Oh, I'm terrible with names.
I know. That's what we're here, bro.
That's right. Go on a rescue mission. Yeah, Grogu. Using Tala's imperial position to bypass security measures. We see the tomb, air quotes, of force-sensitive beings. And as Tala is about to have her cover blown, Obi frees Leia and sets off an alarm. And shit hits the fan. As our heroes are cornered by no less than 75 stormtroopers, 3 Inquisitors, countless officers. They are saved by 2 air speeders. Just 2. Vader is about to choke out Reva. She says, I let them go on purpose. The tracker is on the little droid Leia owns. Vader releases her. That's about it.
And Vader was like, that's a good idea. Like,
that's a good idea. I'm glad I thought of that. It's good shit.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I look, before we get into it, I'm going to forget. I just want to give a genuine, like, shout out applause to James Earl Jones reprising his role as the voice of Darth Vader. The dude's 91 years old, I believe. Dude is still a fucking animal. I mean, it's
love that guy.
I mean, it's legitimately going to be sad when when James Earl Jones passes, because I'm not sure how they're going to do Darth Vader. Look, I mean, obviously they can do voice modulation and all kinds of shit these days, but I'm glad they got the real deal for it, and makes me realize I don't know what Hayden Christensen is doing in this show. The show is 4 episodes in, and I'm not entirely sure what he's doing.
Well, we've seen him show up wearing a cloak, and then he's the actual guy wearing the suit. Running around.
That is confirmed.
People.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So, I mean, that's cool. I guess.
I'm sure there's going to be some more.
Hey, you know what? You know what is absolutely 100% real now? I bet you he really hates sand now.
Because it gets into everything.
Everything. All these goddamn computer chips. I got to go soak.
Yeah, I gotta take a drip,
an oil bath or whatever, like they do with the droids.
Yeah.
So, one thing I've noticed about this show right now that there was a pretty good okey doke just from the previews, and I think we referenced this a little bit in the first episode, but now that we're 4 episodes in, dude, this is the Obi-Wan and Leia show.
Yes.
And if you're just looking at it from the trailers, right, you would think that this was going to be Luke-centric.
Yes.
Because they didn't even bring up Leia, right?
And I don't even think I mean, we have 2 episodes left, but I'm not even sure the child actor who plays Luke is going to get any lines.
I don't think so either.
But look, that is a really good call, Josh. No, they kept the Leia thing under wraps. Because I didn't even think about it at all.
No.
But I do think, as I'm going to get into later, that is starting after episode 4. The Leia part of this is starting to become a problem for me. As it relates to continuity.
I would like to point out one thing before you get too deep into that. I would just like to shout out specifically one of my favorite podcasts, 3 Guys and a Mic. Because they recently were celebrating Star Wars Month on their show, and they actually named Leia as being the greatest Star Wars character of all time. And as it turns out, great timing, great call on their part. Nice job, fellas.
And I mean, there's some self promotion here. That is 100% true that we did name her that character, and I mean, like I fought pretty hard for Leia a few times. She is the living embodiment of hope in the Star Wars universe as far as the canon movies are concerned. And man. And look, the little girl, I think, is absolutely one of the MVPs of the season so far. I think she's very, very good. It's a good call.
All
so,
right,
episode 3.
Yeah.
Well, just jump in. What's some of the best scenes for you in episode 3?
I mean, I look. I'm gonna pull a Dave, and I'm gonna just take the low hanging fruit.
I'm good.
And that's when the lightsabers come out. Yeah, when Vader walks out and he just zap, the lightsabers out, and Obi-Wan, I guess, kind of trying to hide or whatever. And he's like, fuck it, here we go. And he just pops the lightsaber, and I'm just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. Whenever Obi-Wan puts his out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that scene too, and I kind of had this later on just in questions, but Dave, are you still feeling like this is the Obi-Wan that you wanted, or are you hoping for some more Obi-Wan at this point? Because, like, I was really hoping that the first time when we get the Obi-Wan Vader showdown in the show, that Obi-Wan was going to be 75% of what he used to be. Like, it's hard. I don't know. It was hard for me to watch. I think that's the point, but it was hard. I mean, if that's the point, well done.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So my initial reaction, and I've gone back and forth on this. Well, okay, my initial reaction of episode 3 overall, I'm just bringing this up because it ties into what you said, is disappointment. And the main source of that was I thought the face-off between Vader and Obi-Wan was way too soon. 3 episodes in, it seemed like that should have been like played up as a much bigger deal. And it was a big deal, but it was a squash match, right? We all come from wrestling, and like squash matches are fun sometimes, but that's not really what I wanted here. And I would say this, given what we've seen in episode 4, it does seem like in hindsight, the Force is kind of returning to Obi-Wan. He's kind of getting his shit back a bit. I anticipate another confrontation with Vader. Where it's going to be closer to what you desire, Josh, in terms of rekindling some of that Mustafar battle, substance. But it was hard. My biggest problem with that scene, and it is one of my favorite scenes, although my favorite scene, before I get into more, is the when Vader's going through the town and trying to lure Kenobi out, and he's like basically torturing the townspeople. I thought that was pretty sadistic, and it was, I don't know, I mean,
one of the first times you really get to see Vader do some truly evil shit, because you don't see a ton of it.
Yeah.
He snaps the neck of a teenager who's come outside.
The teenager's like, "What's going on out here?"
And he just goes, "Yeah." He just turns his arm, and I don't know. We saw this in, spoilers. We saw this in season 2 of The Mandalorian with Luke, and now we're seeing Vader. I love seeing Force-sensitive characters at their peak. Like, this is peak Vader. And arguably, you could say peak Vader was in the original trilogy too, but because the movies are older, we don't really get to see the spectacle of these characters at their max. Like, with Rogue One, that was so exciting because we got to see Vader truly just wrecking shop. And we're getting that here. I mean, dude, Vader is like lifting people. I mean, he dragged Obi-Wan. He's fighting Obi-Wan with one hand, just wrecking him. It is hard to see Obi-Wan so weak. But again, with hindsight of seeing the second episode, it kind of lifts my spirit a little bit.
Yeah.
I had to talk Dave off the ledge.
Yeah, I was pretty.
After you first watched episode 3.
Episode 3 was a bit of a. I think that was a sign of the first misstep for me in the show. I still think it's a good episode, but I started to become concerned.
Yeah, I like the scene with the truck ride with the stormtroopers, when the stormtroopers get on and they're telling the story of Luna and Leia and the whole thing. Like, I thought that was all really well done, and that was like truly suspenseful.
Dude, does anybody? If y'all don't have it, that's fine. But
Freck.
Huh? Freck. That dude, I thought that was a great character to introduce here, because that to me, that adds a sense of realism to the Empire era of the galaxy.
From what I understand, that character is is one of the famous actor Easter eggs, like that Star Wars is kind of prone to do, where they get a big name actor who just wants to be in Star Wars. I don't remember who the fuck it is because terrible with names. If you looked it up,
okay. I'm looking right now.
Apparently, it's a fairly decent actor.
What else we got?
I mean, I recognize the voice, but I couldn't place it. I mean, the only other scene I had, not to name the whole show, obviously, but just the whole intro to the show where you get Obi-Wan calling for Qui-Gon, and you're also getting like a matching intro into Darth Vader again. Like, I just thought that whole thing was cool.
When Vader gets the Iron Man treatment.
Yeah. He gets his suit all put on and shit.
Yeah. I mean, everything with Vader has been very good for me.
That's Zach Braff from Scrubs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do know that guy.
Most well known.
There you
go. What else we got for episode 3?
Favorite characters. I went for Vader here. I thought it was cool just to get to see, to Dave's point, get to see some peak Vader.
Yeah, I think Vader's really the only choice here. Again, season 3 has some issues that I have with it. So,
it's Vader for sure.
Least favorite characters.
Least fave.
I am not a big fan of.
What'd you say, Jason?
I was gonna say, go for it, Dave. You're gonna say Obi-Wan?
Oh
no,
I'm gonna say Obi-Wan.
I'm not a big fan of Tala necessarily, and
she's doing the Lord's work, bro.
My disdain of that character kind of bleeds into episode 4 as well. Like, I just I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of how this character's written as basically a living distraction. Like, oh, we needed somebody to distract something. Okay, well, Tala, go do it. You're the distraction.
Well, I mean, she's basically playing the R2-D2 role right now.
Yeah. I guess
that's what R2 usually does.
My biggest problem with her in episode 3 is how she is, quote unquote saves Obi-Wan. But the Vader could have easily like Vader's the one who put out the fire. Why would she reignites it? Can he just not put it out again?
Well, okay, so
because the story's got to go on.
Yeah, I know.
My thing with that is, okay, so to your point, let's just say he didn't put out the fire to begin with. She shoots something and starts the fire. Who cares? Like, you just go use the Force and you just hold on to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like the Force does not work through the flames.
Yeah.
Maybe he was mystified by maybe he's like the Hound. And like all these flames come up and he's just like, he fucking freezes.
But he's the one who lit him on fire in the first place. That doesn't work.
Dave, the story has to
I wasn't talking about that. I wasn't talking about that part of the show, Dave. I was talking about the second time there was fire.
Oh, so the second time it bothered him for reasons nobody knows.
Well, because the first time he said it and he controlled the fire. The second time it was a lot higher. Probably burning a lot hotter too.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's true, right? Yeah, you're right. I didn't.
Yeah,
stupid as fuck.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to give a special shout out to the loader droid.
Yes.
Who doesn't talk?
Yes.
Man, that dude was willing to smash some fucking skulls. Yeah.
He had that pipe or hammer or whatever the hell it was. I was just like, oh god dang, that one swing from the robot and that would just obliterate whatever it touches.
I don't know. My other small issue, and this is
we're on least favorite character, Dave.
I don't care. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We can move forward. We can move forward with issues. I do have one more.
Oh,
okay. Dave doesn't want to go.
Yeah. So no, I'll go. So my issue is, and this is kind of with both of these episodes. Like, dude, where the fuck are the length? Where's the length at for these episodes? Because I feel like we're just not getting any show. Like I brought this up to Jason off stream, and he's gonna tell you like why I'm wrong and whatever. That's fine. But like, I'm also watching Stranger Things season 4. I realize it's Netflix's biggest show. You know, they're gonna put all their nuts on the table for the Stranger Things. Okay, that's fine.
All those episodes are like 2 hours long right now, or some shit, aren't they?
They're like, yeah, some of them are like the episode. I'm on like episode 6, and I think it's like an hour and 52 minutes. And but like every episode is somewhere between like an hour and 15 minutes and up to 2 hours. And it's like
you hit play on episode 4.
And it's like it's 38 minutes with 5 minutes of credits and 2 to 3 minutes of intro. So you get 30 minutes of show. And it's like, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Where the fuck is this budget? Also, why is this show starting to look like doo-doo? Like where? Like, I'm not trying to talk shit. Okay, yes, I am going to talk shit, okay? Because I'm starting to get mad now. There is no one in this show that is a high dollar actor, including Ewan McGregor. Okay, because he's not starring in high end blockbuster films one after the other. Nobody in this is commanding is huge, ginormous budget. Where the why isn't Disney busting out the Mickey Mouse dollars and be like, oh, we're gonna spend everything we can. Oh, we're gonna make this the greatest show ever. Like, no, nobody's doing that. This show is looking like whack. Like, I don't know.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, what?
Was there a part of you that was slightly concerned that? Oh no, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's coming up in the next episode. Never mind. I'll save my question.
All
right. Let's move on. I'm getting heated. I'm already starting to sweat.
All right. So, are we just going to focus in on? Do you want to just finish our issues with episode 3, or do we want to go ahead and go on to episode 4?
I'm willing to move on.
I mean, do you have another issue?
I mean, no. We pretty much talked about. I didn't have a lot of issues with episode 3.
I didn't either. I thought it was fun.
I felt the fight between Vader and Obi-Wan was well done for what I was expecting, because I did not want to see a badass Obi-Wan.
Me neither. Not at first.
And the guy has suppressed his powers for 10 years, and so he's rusty. Like, he's lucky he made it as long as he did against Vader, and he knew it. And so I didn't have a problem with that. And if it's the only fight that they do have, it really wasn't a fight. Like, Vader knew he was the better of the two. Obi-Wan knew he was the better of the two. He was just dragging it on because he wanted to torture the man.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it still preserves A New Hope's fight.
No,
he says,
it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Because when he left him, it wasn't in this fight. Because when he left him, it was when he left to go join the dark side.
No,
he was still but the learner.
That is some mental gymnastics. This shit is fucking with continuity big time.
No. This episode 3 was not. When we get into episode 4, then we got some problems.
I disagree. I disagree with your statement that if this is the only fight, it doesn't mess up episode 4. If this is the only fight, it 100% messes with episode 4 completely. Why? When I say episode 4, I mean A New Hope.
Why?
There's a line in New Hope that Vader says. He goes, "The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but a learner, but now I am the master." Bitch, what was Vader learning in this fight in episode 3 of this show? You know what he was learning? How to drag Obi-Wan's face on the dirt. That's what he was learning how to do. So like
he was learning the Ric Flair, like learning how to feign and act like you're hurt. That's what Obi was doing. He was just trying to bait him, and then stupid old Talia shows up and ruins the whole scheme.
Darth Vader says that.
That's what Obi was trying to teach him in this fight.
Oh, okay, got it. Let's move on.
I just, like I said, I feel like this was not a real fight because the two individuals in this fight knew it was going to end only in one way.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan got saved.
Yep.
Yeah. So the fourth episode,
fight, hopefully that'll work out.
I'm glad to hear you guys struggle a little bit with the fourth episode, because I'm watching it today and I was finding myself really struggling to like pay attention to it. Like it was not gripping my attention until we got to what I would say is kind of like one of my first favorite scenes here is the Leia interrogation.
I like that
scene, but specifically whenever she's like, "Fine, I'll tell you where they're at. I need to tell my dad first, though, because we're all part of the Empire, and you're trying to help, right?" I was just like, "Fuck yeah, Leia, way to be,
dude!" And then Reva sniffed that out, and Leia's like, "I would never tell you that shit." Well, she didn't say shit, but essentially.
But you can see Reva like stand back and be like, "Ugh," like she want to like punch her in the face, and she's like, "Okay."
Dude, I mean, look, they are building up this Leia. And look, we know where Leia goes, right? And it is cool. It is a little bit fan servicey, but it is cool to see Leia. Even at this young age, she ain't giving up shit, dude. She's a true hero from the word jump.
And it's laying the groundwork for why she became who she became, one of the leaders of the rebellion.
Yeah. Now. Well, it's also creating a problem because she is getting way too close to Obi-Wan, and
now we're getting into continuity, Dave.
Yeah, this is fucking stuff up because
let's hang on to that for just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll let Jason go into that because he has more stuff to say.
So just another one of the favorite scenes was after Obi-Wan saved her and they're escaping, and then you're finally starting to see him like garner some of that old ability back, where he's able to actually start deflecting, lasers with the lightsaber and shit.
I would say that was a highlight as well. That scene.
Dude, I was super happy when I saw it. I was like, oh yeah, do it, let's go. It was good.
Yeah, when one of the lasers hits the glass, and it's of course underwater. He's using the Force with one hand to hold the glass in place
while he's blocking with his other.
Continuing, to block with the other. I'm like, okay, it's not exactly like riding a bicycle, but I mean,
we're getting there.
Coming along.
Yeah, he's doing a little twirls, and he's kind of deflecting, and he's doing his damn thing. He is he's definitely holding his own. I mean, he kind of still looks like rolled up dog shit. But, he's getting there. I think pretty much everything Leia related is going to be a highlight for me. I would pick her to be my, are we still doing scenes?
I had one more that I just kind of wanted to talk about, where during the hangar scene, like whenever they're almost getting away, and then, you hear Reva come out and say, "Traitor!" And like you turn around and you see all those stormtroopers and come out. Dude, I was just like, I was riding this Obi-Wan is back high right there. So I was really hoping he was going to be like, just look to them, turn to them and be like, just keep on going. And then he was going to like fucking like drop the cloak, open up the lightsaber, and just get like full power Obi-Wan.
We were going to get like Duel of the Fates or something.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I was in that moment. I was like, oh, we're going to like, he's back. And then these shitty ships fly in. I'm like, oh no. Weak,
dude.
So weak.
Yeah, that's not a strong scene. Jason, you got any scenes?
I like I said, I liked the way the scene played out that I described, where he one of the laser shots he deflects hits the glass, and he's holding back the water, and then
that was
right
cool.
At the very end, he just lets go and makes a run for it, and the door is shut behind him. And everybody in that corridor just...
there's no way they survived.
There's no oxygen in the stormtrooper helmets.
No.
They all drowned.
Yeah.
Dave, you were going into favorite character earlier. Go ahead.
I think it's Leia for me.
I agree.
I think I think for the most part, that actress kind of steals, every scene that she's in pretty much. I mean, it's just... It's good. It's good having Leia on screen, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Leia is in beast mode right here, especially under interrogation. She really knows how to push the buttons, and she also knows how to pretend sympathy.
Yeah,
and then she's like, yeah, you can forget about that with those crocodile tears or whatever she said, those fake ass tears or whatever she says to her. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
What about What about least favorite? Least favorite was tough in this episode, but there is one standout.
All right, I'll let y'all go.
For me, it's going to be Reva. It's not the actress. It's the way the story unfolds that she's in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with. I'll go, Dave.
I'm in a tie with Reva and Tala, and again, it's the way their characters are written. I'm not a fan of. Not as a whole, but just specifically in this episode, what their characters do, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not a fan of where it's going. I think I kind of know where it's going.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lola on this one because that little bitch is a traitor. Dave's confused. The droid.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The droid with the tracker. Now, now Lola's got the red eye. What a
now
bitch.
she got the red eye, the Terminator eye.
All right, dear Lord. Before you guys jump into this real nerdy shit, I just have a question.
Go for it.
Is this like the all-time high level for back-to-tanks in Star Wars Galaxy? Like, I feel like we're riding this popularity of back-to-tanks right now, coming off of Boba Fett, and now into Obi-Wan, where we've already had multiple episodes of back-to-tanks here. Like, why is it that back-to-tanks are all of a sudden the fucking rage in this show?
I don't know. Blame Disney.
I think it's because they have to. Okay, and this is going to be in the issues. I feel like they have to explain everything. Like, okay, we know that Obi-Wan got hurt. You could have just said,
let's throw him in the back-to-tank.
Yes, and we would have guessed. Hey, I bet you he went in the back-to-tank. Yeah, and we know that Vader spends time in the back-to-tank. We don't need to see him every episode in the back-to-tank.
Yeah.
Was there like, is this like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni? They're like, you know what never got any run back in the old days? Back-to-tanks.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I don't think Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have anything to do with this show, actually.
No, they don't. But I mean, just with between Boba Fett and then this,
it shows. No,
it started out strong.
Yes, it did start out strong.
Get into your nerd continuity here.
So, Jason, I'll let you start.
All right. So, my biggest concern right now is the story of Leia and Obi-Wan, and it has to do with the fact that they are getting too close. Like if you were just watching this by itself with no other context, like they're forming a bond here. I wouldn't say father-daughter, but more as like protector, in that like security blanket kind of way. Like he's obviously there to protect you. He's a Jedi. He's a noble guardian, etc. Go on, so forth. But the problem here is that you're creating a situation in which there should be feelings between one or the other or both as far as this adventure that they're going on. You have life and death situations. And you get nothing, absolutely nothing in episode 4 as far as in A New Hope.
Yeah, A New Hope.
And never one time, ever, has Princess Leia ever mentioned to Luke anything about Obi-Wan.
Hey, this man rescued me twice, saved my life, and I'm indebted to him like eternally.
Yeah, or when he's dead and Luke is like upset, she's just like, yeah.
She's kind of consoling Luke, but she doesn't appear to be that broken up about it herself. Now,
and again, I know none of this existed when they made episode 4, but that's your reference point.
Yes.
Like you now you're just going to assume that when this show's over, Obi-Wan went back to Tatooine and never spoke to Leia again.
Yeah. And
so go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna, say more of what Jason said. I mean, like, you can't just make up a story just because you want it to be cool. Like, you have to, like, I don't know what the problem is with these people who write this shit. It's like they don't watch the original movies. They didn't look at the script. They didn't, like, say, you know what are we doing here? Because this is not going to work with the original trilogy. And it's like, but it's going to look real cool. And it's like, that's all they fucking care about. Go ahead, Josh.
So I have a question. What if, after episode 6 of Obi-Wan, you're in the credits, you get a little cutscene, and then at the end of that, you get a little thing that pops up that says, "We'll see you again for episode 4, the remake." How would you feel about that?
So I've talked about that with Jason off stream quite a bit. One thing that has come up for me with this show, specifically after the first 2 episodes, not so much now, but I would actually like to see remakes of the original trilogies. Now, are they going to be good? No, probably not. But I do want to see them because I feel like, with Ewan McGregor kind of at that age, that right age, and obviously the casting would have to be absolutely perfect for all the characters.
Do you get Tom Holland to play Luke Skywalker?
I feel like he's too short. I don't know.
I don't hear you talking shit about Yoda.
I mean, Yoda's a puppet. But it would be. I don't know. Do I want Tom Holland? The problem is when I look at Tom Holland, all I fucking see is Spider-Man. Like, that's literally all I see. I'd almost want unknowns. Like when you have, like, one of the good things about Force Awakens when it came out is most of the main cast were relative unknowns at the time, so you didn't associate them with anybody. I feel like you'd have to do that again. Now, would I want the guy who played young Han Solo to reprise his role as, like, current Han Solo? I don't know about that guy.
The only person in that show that needs to be
is Lando.
Movie or
Lando. Yeah.
Lando could come in, but
what if you erase like Solo from existence, and you just bring in Donald Glover as Han instead of Lando?
Oh, as Han.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that, to be honest.
I mean, we already know he can play a cool motherfucker.
I wouldn't hate that at all.
I mean, you still need a Lando if you do that, or maybe Lando's not part of the story. And
no,
I mean, like, you'd have to assume that it wouldn't be 4, 5, and 6 scene for scene, right? It would be
a reimagined
ish. Yeah,
and that's my problem, is that the original trilogy, at least for me, had a certain type of, like, this magic to it.
Well, a lot of people would feel that way, right?
Yeah,
that it has a magic.
And I just feel like there's just no way they would recapture it.
So here's the thing. Here's my dream scenario of that.
Well, they wouldn't be after you. They wouldn't be after a 50-year-old audience trying to capture that magic. They'd be after the 10-year-old audience trying to capture it for the next 40 years.
Correct,
so here's my thing. If they did it, and they wouldn't do it this way, but if they did it, to your point, Josh, where you said it wouldn't be a scene for scene, I'd want it to be scene for scene, but I would be fine with it being a done up a scene for scene, right? So, like, we're still getting all of the moments, just significantly visually upgraded.
What if they use deepfake technology, right? So you get all the faces of everybody on there, right? You can still use all their dialogue that still exists from then, but you can really beef up the action in it, right? You can beef up the graphics, and you can beef up the lightsaber battles and shit.
No, I would want it better acted.
Yeah, I would. I mean, like, look, the magic of the original trilogy really isn't the acting necessarily,
It's the universe building, and it's like it's all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're kind of getting off the rails here, but like
we're way off the rails.
But look, to your point, Josh, if they did remake the original trilogy, and look, I think that's going to happen in our lifetime. I would be completely shocked if they don't remake the original trilogy. Like, there's so much money in it, like for them to do that. Like, it doesn't make sense for them not to. Just
let's corral it back. Corral it back.
So issue. I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Reva letting them go. Stupidest thing I've ever heard. She made it a point in the first episode when we first meet her character that she has been searching for Obi-Wan for 10 years. They all have. And she is dead set on capturing him. In fact, even in the third episode, Vader, says to her, like, he basically tells her, like, hey, look, we're going to capture Kenobi. We're going to
She says it's all that matters.
Yes.
She says it again in episode 4.
After they get away, and after she says, I put the tracker on there because now we can get Kenobi and we can find, all these people that have been conspiring against us. But yeah, and then immediately she's like, Kenobi's the only thing.
But then why would you let him go? Like, this is so dumb. It's so stupid. This shit is disappointingly bad. So it just makes her character look stupid, and I love the character,
and that was why she was my least favorite, is because this plot is just, it's terrible.
It's razor thin.
Yeah, if you're her, and this was your plan, then you would have made it easier for them to escape. And then to a point where Obi-Wan says a line like, that was easier than I thought. Well, of course it was, because she lets you get out of there.
So here's how
not what happened.
Here's how you fix this. Okay? Here is how you fix this. When Reva tried to mind meld or, mind read Leia. What if somehow it's the Force, right? The Force. That's how you explain it. The Force. When she does that, she somehow sees or realizes who Leia is. The connection in the Force between Leia and Vader, and she's able to realize, oh shit, this is Anakin's baby, right? And so she kind of freaks out. And she's like, I gotta tell Vader, but I gotta tell him privately. Like, so she lets her go, right? Because she wants to tell Vader who this girl is. Then you could actually have a storyline, because then you actually have a plot that's driving it. Like she's gonna tell Vader who it is, but we know she doesn't end up doing that because Vader finds out in episode 6. Yeah. So, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense why Reva would let her go. Like, okay.
So while you're on the topic of the reading minds, so the distractor steps in.
Oh my god! And this was the dumbest part.
She's like, know where all of the Jedi have been going, and she basically just spills the beans on where the secret pathway goes, where all these people are, that she's been undercover collecting information, etc. And immediately Reva's like, or you're lying.
Okay, Reva, you've already shown that you will mind read anyone who you remotely question. Yeah. Are you going to mind read her this time? No. Send her to the...
Yeah. Instead of just immediately reading her thoughts to see if she's at least telling the truth, she's like, call interrogations. We're going to interrogate this one. Like, why? You don't need to.
Yeah, you could just...
but I feel like there's more. I feel like there's more to it. I don't think you just walk up and do that. Like, I feel like it's got to be like a controlled environment.
No, she does. She reads old boy's mind in episode 2.
Yeah, in an alleyway when there's no one else around. Now they're in a hangar or in a room full of like 50 people.
You're doing mental gymnastics. She could have read this woman's mind. I'm 100% convinced.
My thing is okay. Let's just say that you're going to do the interrogation. Why would you not immediately jump on that information? Like, what if? Let's just pretend she was telling her the truth, and this was an actual Empire officer, and then you missed your opportunity because you thought she was lying. Like that, this part doesn't make sense.
Well, to be fair, there was also, that bot discovered Obi-Wan and pulled everybody away, so they didn't really get much of a chance to explore this.
Correct. It's one of those things that happens because you can't immediately kill that character or something. Again, and we brought it up earlier. In this episode particularly, you put Leia's life in danger, but we already know that she's not in danger. No matter what Obi-Wan is doing, it doesn't make any difference if there's stormtroopers right around the corner because we know nothing happens to Obi-Wan. They're surrounded by literally 75 stormtroopers. And we know nothing's going to happen because they both get away. It's just, we don't need you to drum up suspense when there doesn't need to be. Just tell the story.
I don't know. Look, maybe Obi could die and then he gets brought back to life, Jon Snow style.
Leia does it. Leia brings him back to life.
Maybe.
That's how she gets her powers. Like
she does. She is super force sensitive. We know that.
Maybe. So I guess it just there's this episode unfortunately falls into one of those things where it's like nonsensical things happening just to tell a story that doesn't need to be told. Like you went through all this trouble to let them get away on purpose. For what? When Obi-Wan was all that mattered.
Yep.
Yeah. I do have a much more important question than all the other bullshit you guys just talked about.
All right.
Dave, when you're watching episode 4 and he's going through the tomb, right?
How
closely? What?
Go ahead.
Are you going to bring up
watching for Mace Windu?
And did I see him? Because he's there.
He's definitely not there.
There's a debate. Okay, so while we're doing this, I'm gonna read to you what Wiki
Josh on your phone. Go
about,
to 20 minutes 17 seconds.
Hey, just send them the picture you sent me, Dave.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Where they zoomed in. Okay, so I'm gonna read you Wiki. Whoever
I was looking and I didn't see him, but maybe I missed him.
Whoever filled in the Wiki page. There's been 3 different accounts. So one is a tomb. Dave earlier read that
IGN.
That they were in stasis, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wiki, whoever filled out the Wiki, this is how they described this area. Obi-Wan discovers a vault full of preserved Jedi that the Empire had captured and killed. So whoever filled out the Wiki, all of those people are supposedly dead and captured. That's okay. So while we're on issues, why the fuck would you have that?
I mean,
why would you have the body of a dead youngling in stasis, still wearing his youngling helmet?
Because I mean,
they're probably doing experiments on these guys.
Because I mean that
we know that's what they're about.
That to me looks like a pretty convincing Mace Windu. I'm just saying.
And I already told Dave, if they say that was Mace Windu and he's dead and that's how it's been verified, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Because
you're out. You're not watching any more Star Wars.
Nope. Because to me, that would be I mean, I can't even equate this to anything, honestly, but that would be the most chicken shit thing that you could possibly do.
Because you didn't even get a reaction from Obi-Wan.
Yeah, you didn't you'd be like, you bad motherfucker. You should have said something like that.
Now, unless...
Or at least a Master Windu.
Yeah. So the only thing I could think of where... obviously, this is pure speculation, but the only thing I could think of of why they would put him there is if maybe they were in talks with Samuel L. Jackson and they couldn't come to some type of an agreement. So that's why we didn't get like a full on like moment. But then why put the body there? Like, why even do that unless this is supposed to be some type of Easter egg?
I am of the belief that this is not a tomb. That the word tomb is thrown out because that's what Obi-Wan says out loud. So I am of the belief that this is a type of stasis, kind of like the goo that, say, Austin Powers is in. When he's in
so this is Demolition Man. These people are alive.
Yeah.
So
Mace Windu's gonna have to take a fucking major piss when he gets out of this cryo thing.
I am going with that, and I refuse to believe anything else.
All right.
But Josh, now that you see that, now that you see that, I mean, how does that look to you? I was
just joking around, but now I'm like, fuck. that might have sadly answered our question and ruined season 3 of Mando for us.
Yeah,
because that would have been the every episode prediction on season 3 of Mando.
Are we ready to move on to where we think we're going with this? Are we done with issues?
I'm done with issues.
Yeah.
I am extremely concerned because we only have 2 episodes left.
Yep.
And I don't think we're going to get any kind of reveal that shows that Reva finds out that these are Vader's kids. I don't think we're going to get Vader realizing that one of his kids are alive. So I'm not going to get my theory. I don't think Dave's going to get his theory.
No, there's not enough time.
I still think that Vader could kill Reva.
Yeah, they're leaning that way, I think.
One way or the other. But I did bring up something to Dave earlier.
I think this is the only theory that they have time to explore, and there's enough foreshadowing, sort of, with it.
So Josh, what would you say if Reva is actually attempting to get the favor of Vader to get close enough to actually assassinate Vader, basically ruining her life, taking everything that she had, killing her friends that she knew that were younglings, killing her master, her teachers, and it's a slow burn, long play.
Well, I mean, obviously we know how that turns out, so that would be unfortunate if that was your plan.
Yeah, it's obvious it's not going to be successful, but I think it's a way you could get a little bit of an unexpected.
I mean, either that or does she get his favor and try to get him to kill the Emperor?
That's what I had said that at one point as well.
Yeah, I remember you saying that early on. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Now, I think there's a theory that, and I haven't gone back to the first episode and watched it, so I have no way of knowing if what I'm about to say is wrong, but there is a theory that the opening sequence we get of Order 66 with the younglings training, that one of those is Reva.
The girl in the middle.
Yeah. So to Jason's point, that, Reva had everything, in front of her in terms of her life, and
and if we are to believe what the Inquisitors said, so she was raised from nothing, and then was basically given this amazing opportunity, only to have Vader basically take it all from her.
Yeah. So she might hold some deep-seated hatred for it.
She's willing to do anything. It's one of those things where it doesn't make any difference the evil deeds that she does, as long as in the end she gets her justice.
But what if she slowly takes out all the other Inquisitors, and then Vader takes her out at the end?
Like I said, the issue is we only have 2 episodes to go, so I mean, we really got to move this fucking thing along now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's are there still Inquisitors in episode 4?
Yeah, there was 2.
There's 2 left alive, other than her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the 5th brother, and I don't know. first, second brother. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant episode 4, the movie.
Oh no.
No, I mean there is no mention of the Inquisitors in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. So I mean, I think it's safe to say that. I mean, I don't know if Obi-Wan would only kill her if his life was on the line, right? So I think it's probably safer to say that they fail in getting Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's the last remaining Jedi that anybody can fathom at this point, and so he discontinues the Inquisitor program by killing her.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe I would say okay. So now that we're down to 2 episodes, I guess the question is Vader and Obi-Wan going to have one more fight?
I think they have to.
So do I. But me and Dave have been talking about this because not to get back into issues, but at some point when this series ends, Obi-Wan goes back to Tatooine.
Makes no contact with Luke.
Yeah, makes no contact with Leia, presumably. And Vader goes upon his merry way. So even though my theory had them coming to an accord because he knows that he wants to save his son, say, from the Emperor, I don't think that's going to be the case now.
Yeah, because Luke's not the center of the show, like we thought.
Are we going to just assume that this is going to end in their duel and Vader thinking that Obi-Wan perishes somehow?
Yeah, I think Obi-Wan fakes his death.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way I can think you get out of this and make the next 8 years make sense, because like it's not like he went to a new planet. He went back to the planet he was on.
Yeah. I think Obi-Wan fakes his death. Vader kills, some combination of Reva kills the Inquisitors and Vader kills Reva. I think Vader killing Reva is basically a done deal at this point.
Yeah.
The only way I can see this, in my mind, I do feel like Reva being the one that attempts to kill Vader makes sense in my head, because then it justifies her killing, say, the other 2 Inquisitors and getting a face-to-face with Vader. I don't really know if they're going to have this epic showdown either. Like, it might be just one of these things that as soon as she attempts to do the assassination, it's like, did you really think I was that stupid? And then he just strikes her down right there. And then you would have an actual Vader Obi-Wan fight.
Do you think we get Hayden Christensen? Maybe she approaches him when he is mask.
We're gonna get no mask Vader, I think, in the next one of these next 2 episodes.
And maybe she approaches him then.
Or does he project a Force ghost in his old form?
Oh my God.
Hey, okay, so are we still gonna get Qui-Gon Jinn?
God, if we don't get Force Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn, I'm gonna be upset.
Or at least voice.
Yeah.
Force voice.
God,
I think we got to get the whole shebang. We got to get him on screen.
Okay, so the blue hologram looking.
Yeah, dude, got to.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So just to wrap things up, I started the show with a lot of promise, but man, these next 2 episodes have got to be fucking bangers, and I
think they're gonna wrap it up in a good way.
I hope. Hey, look, man. One can only hope.
And look, we all know what the next episode is. It's the penultimate episode.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything except Game of Thrones, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, but hey, good trying. I'm glad you're optimistic.
I'm trying, Dave. I'm trying to help you, because the last 2 weeks I've had these text messages. I just finished Obi-Wan. I have concerns.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like,
well, look, good news is we shouldn't have anything else derailing us from a time standpoint. Derailing us from a time standpoint. So we should be doing episode 5 as its own episode and episode 6 as its own episode. So we'll be able to focus in and get in deep on those episodes if we have to.
And tell them what we're giving them this Saturday.
Yeah, I was gonna say also what's going on right now is The Boys season 3 has started, and usually we kind of like this Amazon method where they drop 3 episodes of the show, but right now it's kind of a pain in the ass because when we do the episode this Saturday, we're gonna have to talk about 4 episodes of the fucking Boys in one shot.
Yeah,
so I feel bad for the human fossil. I don't know. I'm assuming 10.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have 4 episodes that we're going to review on Saturday. And Josh has not seen a single minute.
Hey,
not yet.
You should get to watching.
I had to wait for the wife, so
it is phenomenal.
These episodes
I'm gonna try and get her into episode 1 right now.
Right. These episodes are explosive.
That's good. I feel like there's some innuendo with that.
Maybe.
Anyway.
All right. Well, hey, in the meantime, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Live long and prosper.
Take it easy, everybody.
Later.